Hello everyone, welcome at this second video on sustainable employability. In the first video, we defined the term sustainable employability and we looked at why it was of such importance. In this second video, I will talk you through the model of health behavior. We look at why people perform a certain healthy behavior and how it in turn may affect their labor participation. If we look at the model, we see that it consists of two different parts. First, it explains which factors have an influence on the health behavior of an individual. And second, it looks at how this health behavior may influence their labor participation. In this video, we will zoom into the left side of the model. The final video will explain the right side of the model. Whether people are healthy or not is often determined by circumstances and their environment. So to a large extent, the health of individuals is determined by socioeconomic status, education, gender, genetics. So really blaming those individuals with poor health is not really fair to do, because often different factors or determinants are really out of their control. So let's take a look at the factors that may influence an individual's health behavior. We see that income and social status has an influence. The higher the income and the higher the social status is often linked to better health. Furthermore, education. Lower education levels are linked to poor health, more stress and lower self-confidence. Also, physical environment plays a role here. Safe water and clean air, healthy workplaces, safe houses and communities all contribute to good health. Furthermore, social support networks. So if you have great support from your family, from your friends, and from the community, this is also all linked to better health. Furthermore, we see that gender plays a role. Men and women suffer from different types of diseases at different ages. Now we've discussed some of the environmental factors. Let's also take a look at an example of a behavioral factor, which may also influence the health behavior of the individual. Let's take a look at habits. Habits are learned sequences of acts that have become automatic responses to specific cues and are functional in obtaining certain end goals or states. So basically, these are actions that have come to be automatically triggered by environmental cues. And I remember, when I was in my second year of facilities management, I went to Malta to work at Sky Park's business center. Every morning we had a short meeting to start up our day, and it always started with a muffin or a brownie. Then, when I was walking home, I passed by the following cafe, and I was always smelling that amazing smell of fresh pastries, which I, of course, could not resist. At night, I met up with friends, and as they always ordered pizza, I also ordered it. After partying, we walked by a restaurant that was open 24/7, and this often resulted in a late night dinner. By the end of the 6 months, I unconsciously gained 10 kilos. So this example clearly demonstrates this environment behavior link. A habit forms itself by creating associations in your memory that are triggered by something stable in the environment, which in turn triggers an action of someone. So in my example, you see that certain environmental cues or internal states or the presence of interaction partners can trigger someone to behave in a certain way. In Malta, I saw that the moment that I walked past by the cafe, I smelled the smell of pastries, which is an environmental cue, which in turn triggered my behavior. Besides that, when I was meeting up with my friends at night and we had dinner and I saw all of them having pizza, that also triggered me to have pizza. So keep this in mind. A habit is formed by a stable environmental cue, which in turn triggers a certain action. But you can also do this the other way around. For example, if you want to form a positive habit, you can, for example, already put your running shoes next to the door in the morning, so that the moment you wake up, you can directly put on your shoes, so you can directly go running. And also as a facilities manager, you can think about how you can use this to your advantage. How can you make people form healthy habits in the working environment? How can you nudge them? How can you trigger them? What can you change in the environment? How can you create a certain environmental cue, which in turn influences their actions, which in turn influences whether they buy a salad or something unhealthy in the canteen, or whether they take the stairs or the elevator. So at this moment, we covered the left side of the model. We looked at how environmental factors as well as behavioral factors can influence the health behavior of the individual. In the next video, I will talk about how the health behavior of the individual may in turn influence their labor participation.